Hi, and welcome to the Wayne County Probate Court. This video will guide you in filling out Form PC583, which is the short form of the accounting for a conservatorship or guardianship. First, to retrieve the form, we're going to go to the Wayne County Probate Court website, www.wcpc.us. Then in the upper middle, probate information link, click there. On the left, you'll see how to administer a Wayne County probate case. This is related to a conservatorship, and you can see there is training for newly appointed conservators. When you click on the link, you'll see a PDF with a lot of great information about the conservatorship process. I am going to search for the form, and as you can see on page 8 of the PDF, it references PC583, the annual account short form. To retrieve it, I'm going to highlight PC583, search the web, and the very first link that comes up is a link from the courts.michigan.gov. When you click on that link, the form pops up and you can start to fill it out right on your computer. But I have a annotated one to help walk through it. So in the upper left, you're going to put the county, which is Wayne. Then in the middle, you are going to check one of these boxes. This first box would be the first or second or third or 10th, depending on your situation. You're going to check this box and describe which annual account this is. If it's the final one, you will check this box as well. Or perhaps it's an interim one, meaning that it is done in the middle of an accounting period. Or perhaps it's an amended, so it could be the second interim amended, or it could simply be the second annual amended. And so depending on your situation, you're going to check these boxes as applicable. And that reminds me, this is not supposed to be legal advice to you. It's general information. If you are unsure how to fill out this form, you need to seek legal counsel. All right, moving on to the right side of the top of the document, you're going to put your case number. This is just an example. You need to put the case number that you have, and then this is for the judge. You'll put in your judge's name. Again, this is just an example. Whatever your judge's name is, you're going to put at the bottom here. Then you'll put the court address, the court phone number. In the matter of, you'll put the first, middle, and last name of the incapacitated person or the protected individual. Their name goes here. Then it says next, in a guardianship or conservatorship, the ward's or protected individual's current address and telephone number are. You're going to put the address and the telephone number. Then at number 1, you're going to put I, the name, your name, presumably, or the name of the conservator, am the conservator of the estate and submit the following as my account, which covers the period from. If this is your first accounting period, it'll be from the date of your acceptance of appointment. And if it's a subsequent period, it'll be the date beginning the day after the end of the previous accounting period. So in my example, I just said May 19th, 2022 to May 18th, 2023. May not exceed 12 months. All right, then moving on to the accounting portion. It says note, Do not put financial account numbers on this form. If an account number is necessary to distinguish between accounts, put it on Form MC97. Account information is protected information. This is a public document, and so you should not be putting account numbers on this form because it is publicly available. Instead, put the account numbers on Form MC97. Okay, moving to column 1, it describes income, gain, and other receipts. So whatever the protected individual received in the form of income or other gains or other receipts, it needs to be reflected in column 1. These are just examples with made up numbers. You need to do it for your specific situation. Then in column 2, expenses, losses, and other disbursements. So what left the conservator estate will be described here. I just put examples that you might have, and investment gain or investment losses. If those occurred, you will include them down here. I just did examples. And when you fill in these numbers, this will automatically add the amounts up for you. Same with the column 2. As you fill in these numbers, just to show, when I hit enter, it automatically filled in this amount. And when I delete it, it automatically calculates the amount for you. Okay, then at the bottom of every SCAO form, which is what this form is, a Supreme Court Administrative Office form, it lists relevant statutes, which are MCL, and court rules, which are MCR, applicable to this form. And you can simply, and you should, look these statutes up. And if you simply highlight, if you simply highlight and click search, I searched MCL 700.7303, you'll see the Michigan legislature is the first link that you can click on. When you click that link, it brings you right to the statute. You need to read this. Similarly, with Michigan court rules, which are MCR, if you do an internet search, you'll see it may pop up. The first one is casetext.com. I'm not familiar with that. However, I do like to use the Michigan court rules from the court.michigan.gov website. When you click on that link, it brings up the court rules. I search for 5.308, so I'm going to go to 500.3, and then 5.308. Click on that link, and it brings me to the relevant court rule that I can now read. So you'll want to take some time to read that. That is the law governing this form. It is very helpful to understand what the rules are. All right, moving on to page 2. These, again, this first 2A, you're going to fill in from either the inventory that you filed, which is exactly what it says, an inventory of the assets of the estate, or you're going to use, if this is your second or subsequent accounting, the last account amount. and you're gonna type that in here. Then B will have been automatically calculated for you when you filled in the information above. And C will automatically fill in and calculate for you, as well as D and E. Then you're going to go to number 3. The balance of assets on hand are as follows. You're going to list the balance of the assets. It'll automatically populate. You'll see the total balance on hand highlighted in blue. This line must equal the last line in item 2. Then in blue above the last line in item 2, balance of assets on hand. This line must equal the last line in number 3. So this will be your check to make sure that you have done the accounting correctly. Moving on to the note. It says, in guardianship and conservatorships, except as provided by MCR 5.409C4, you must present to the court copies of corresponding financial institution statements, or you must file with the court a verification of funds on deposit, either of which must reflect the value of all liquid assets held by a financial institution dated within 30 days after the end of the accounting period. So my example, my accounting period ended May 18th, 2023. Essentially, the next statement available from the financial institution after May 18th, so basically May's statement, is going to be required to be submitted along with this form, unless you meet one of the exceptions the exception in MCR 5.409C4. Moving on to number 4. The interested persons' addresses and their representatives are identical to those appearing on the initial application or petition, except as follows. So you'll want to reference the initial petition for the conservatorship and see who the interested persons were and what addresses they were listed for them. If there has been a change in any one of them, you must indicate that change, the name of the person, as well as the new address on this line. Highlighted here in green, attach a separate sheet if necessary. Then number 5 is a statement that you must read because you will sign this document. This account lists all income and other receipts and expenses and other disbursements that have come to my knowledge. Then number 6, if applicable, you will check the box. This account is not being filed with the court. Sometimes the account doesn't have to be filed every year. If that's true, you still need to make the account, but you don't have to file it. Number 7, my fiduciary fees incurred during this accounting period, including fees that have already been approved and or paid for this accounting period, are, you'll type in your fee for being the conservator. Attached is a written description of the services performed. So if you are charging a fee, you need to have a journal describing the work you did and the fee charged for that work. Moving on to number 8, attorney fees incurred during the accounting period, including fees that have already been approved and or paid for this accounting period, are, and the attorney will send the conservator an invoice, and you will attach that invoice with this form. Finally, the declaration. I declare under the penalties of perjury that this account has been examined by me and that its contents are true to the best of my information, knowledge, and belief. You're going to date. If an attorney is involved, they must sign, including their name, bar number, address, and telephone number. And similarly for the conservator, sign, type in your name, address, and your phone number. And then finally, there's a notice to interested persons, which says you must bring to the court's attention any objection you have to this account, except in guardianships and conservatorships. The court does not normally review the account without an objection. So this needs to be filed or presented to the interested persons. They can object, in which case there will most likely be a hearing. In any event, the interested parties will read this, and to the extent they have an issue, they will follow the information here. So that is how you fill up the short form of the accounting of the fiduciary. We put this together at the Wayne County Probate Court because we care. Have a great day.